Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
Yeah, he and I have to definitely debate. That's what I love.
Why did I think Lefty? I don't know. Lefty, I thought you were a woman for some reason the whole time.
Damn, I wish, right?
So you were like seeing you. I'm like, oh, this guy looks like Jesus.
I'm Lefty Jesus. I mean, I advertise accurately. What can I say?
I love it, bro. I'm sorry about the time.
That's okay. Glad we could work it out.
I misread it. No, it's all good. And I can't. I was telling you, I don't have my other Mac connected with a camera.
No, you're good. Everybody can look at my beautiful face.
Yeah. So we got Lefty Jesus.
Bear with me a little bit. I'm not feeling super hot. I'm feeling a little queasy. So
you're all good. Take your time, man. Here's what I figured. I figured maybe, Lefty, you can introduce yourself. I know you're going to be having a debate soon on the Crucible, and then maybe kind of start the conversation going. Kind of maybe start where you wanted to get this conversation, what your points were, things like that. I'll give you that time.
Yeah, sure. I'm Lefty Jesus. I've been a shit poster on, yes, I'm still calling it Twitter for a little while now. Name kind of gives it away. Obviously, I consider myself a leftist, meaning that I push for progressive values, socialism, that sort of thing. I am sort of dipping my toe into the debate sphere, like Skylar alluded to. I am going to be on the Crucible here eventually, debating Andrew Wilson on corporal punishment. But in the meantime,
we will agree on that one. I'm sorry.
Well,
I have a feeling me and you are going to agree on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing about researching that one is it's like you just start reading, yes, you're correct, over and over again.
If you have kids,
I don't.
Like, no, I'm saying like in general, like if one has kids, they realize real quick, like now I realize you don't have to beat them or hurt them or cause physical fear like that in order to get them to listen.
No.
If you have a relationship with them and like they feel you're a loving parent, guess what? They're going to treat you like a loving child. Like, doesn't mean they're not going to get in trouble or something, but like, there's no reason to do it. Anyways, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. Well, I mean, we can start sort of getting into our disagreements here because that was sort of, I take actually quite a great deal of issue with your trans positions, or your positions on the trans community, whatever you want to call it. I was watching your stream, I think from yesterday, your stream VOD from yesterday. And the first thing that I kind of wanted to mention here, you said non-binary is a made-up gender.
I just think it's bullshit, is what I said.
Yeah, me too. I think all genders are kind of bullshit, though.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Then you agree with me.
Well, no, we don't agree. See, that's the problem here. Is I'm a gender abolitionist. Well, I think all genders are bullshit. I think they're all sort of social constructs that we've adhered behaviors and sexual characteristics onto, but ultimately they're arbitrary distinctions that we don't need to maintain.
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would totally agree with you. I think it's silly. I think that's why part of the whole trans argument, like when we're talking about like these, it's like you're either going to have. Right, you're gonna have someone who either has gender dysphoria, right, which is when obviously they look in the mirror, they don't see the same sex, they don't feel like they're in the right body, right? Now you may have some other form that isn't like more like just for some reason it isn't gender dysphoria. It's just the person I guess has a preference, right? But any of this, whenever they start to transition, right, any kind of transgender person, all they're doing, like you're saying, is falling into societal norms that we have at the time and changing their physical bodies in order to adhere to those societal things that we want to get rid of, these concepts of gender in a society.
I mean, just because we acquire our gendered constructs from the examination of like prior gendered constructs doesn't mean that like they're any more or less valid than new ones that come along or old ones that get discarded.
Totally agree. But we want to get rid of them, right?
Well, in the long term, but like I think you and I can both understand that that's probably not coming anytime soon.
Sure, but then what's the purpose? Like then a transgender person is literally just trying to fulfill society's needs in order to make them feel better.
No, a transgender person is trying to fulfill whatever they feel they need to do in order to make themselves feel more comfortable in their given gender identity. And given the fact that society for the past, I don't know, all of it has basically been a two-gender, primarily focused society with rare exceptions scattered throughout history. It makes sense that people who feel that they maybe don't conform with the gender identity they were assigned at birth might ascribe to themselves characteristics of the opposite, quote-unquote, gender identity, even when, I mean, ultimately, I think that railroading people into deciding, okay, well, you can be a trans man or a cis man, a trans woman or a cis woman is kind of a, again, arbitrary distinction. And I think
unnecessary.
I think that the only reason that a lot of people gravitate towards those archetypes is because those are the archetypes predominant in most areas of society today.
It's a popularity contest.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, you just said it's most popular in society today. It's most common.
Well, yes, as in man and woman are the most common genders in society. Like they're trigender societies.
Biologically, that's true.
Well, trigender societies are not like a common thing. So all I was referring to there was the fact that like trans people, if someone has gender dysphoria or feels that they don't properly identify with the gender they were assigned at birth, just because they go, okay, if they were assigned male at birth, and just because they go, oh, well, actually, I'm a woman. That has no bearing on whether or not like man and woman are the two gendered constructs we should be shooting for. Again, that's like totally arbitrary.
Well, there's no ought. There's no ought in what gender concepts we should be shooting.
Well, yeah, that's why I find it interesting. That's why I
preference.
find it interesting that you take issue with non-binary identities, because if it's really personal preference, who cares?
It's just then you're basically just making an extra category that doesn't need to exist. Because you can just say they're human characteristics.
Well, they're all categories that don't need to exist. No category needs to exist.
I know, and exactly. But the whole idea is this is what's being so heavily focused on, right? It's such a big issue. Like the original thing we were talking about, right, was that by even saying, "Hey, I agree with a biological woman that she shouldn't have to see a biological man nude in her locker room," you called me transphobic.
Yeah, I can explain that actually.
Yeah, I know, but that's the point, right? Like you want to talk about nuance and be able to have like a more basic, but as soon as someone says something that you either take is slightly disagreeing with you or you disagree with, you go right to the idea of transphobia.
No, actually, I call transphobia transphobia. So transphobia would be any action made or statement given that denies the validity of trans people and their chosen identities, and leaning on the whole biological man as a very, very common way for people to dismiss the validity of transgender identities.
Is that your personal definition?
Is what my personal definition?
Transphobia. Is that the dictionary definition of transphobia?
That is most people's definition of transphobia, yes.
I don't care what.
Well, that's also most trans people's definition of transphobia.
Were Nazis at one point. So,
what?
Okay, so you're just. I said in Germany during World War II, most Germans were Nazis.
Okay, what does that have to do with what I said?
Because the point is, you just said, well, most people are this now, right? It's not. It doesn't matter if most people like adhere to this particular definition. If you're just all of a sudden a new made-up definition, phobia means fear.
Okay, so can you define homophobia for me then, Skylar?
Yeah, fear of gays.
Really?
Fear of
homophobia is being afraid of gays.
Homo.
So then, what would be wrong with banning gay marriage?
It's not gays. It's homo. Same. Fear of say homosexual.
Yes, I know you're very smart. What would be wrong with banning gay marriage then?
Just a minute ago, you wanted me to break it down. Now you're like, I know.
No, I'm asking you a question now. What would be wrong with banning gay marriage? Is that homophobic?
It would actually violate the Constitution.
I'm asking you. No, I'm not asking that. I'm asking you. Would it be morally wrong and would it be homophobic?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it homophobic, but I would say it would be wrong.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I guess at least you bit the bullet on that one.
See, there you go. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what all I get from you people. Right? Use laughter, awkward.
Well,
laughter.
You sound ridiculous.
Right? Shut the fuck up for a second. I'm gonna just remove you for a moment so I can actually talk. So if you want to like let the other person talk, so we can have a decent conversation, so I don't get into that mode that I had yesterday where it was more aggressive. I'm actually trying to have a chill conversation with you. Okay. So like when I'm trying to have a serious conversation and my opponent can only just laugh and mock, right? They aren't afraid of gay people. If you think these guys, these right-wing Christian nuts, right, are afraid of the gay people, you're out of your mind. They may want to hurt them, They may want to destroy them. They may want to limit their rights. They're not afraid of them, right? So it's important in a society. Like when we use language, we just don't change the meanings of words, right? Like the book 1984 does, where all of a sudden war is peace, freedom is slavery. Like homophobia is referencing a fear of same-sex, homosexuals, or homosexuality, sex. Go on.
Dictionary, homophobia, noun, dislike of or prejudice against gay people. So if anyone is redefining words here in order to suit their narrative, it's you, my friend. Nobody thinks of homophobia as being afraid of gay people except for you and a bunch of Redditors trying to sound smart.
Sure. Okay. Here we go. All right. So you just people who don't like gay people is what you're trying to tell me. Fine. There are people who don't like gay people. I like gay people.
Well, okay, so actually, all I was trying to establish is that the most common
listen. You called me trans.
Yes, I'm trying to explain why.
It's not anti-trans, you clown. It's not anti-trans to say biological women should not have to see a biological male in their dressing
room. So we can get into that specifically in a second, but transphobia specifically entails.
That's what I brought you on the show for, to talk about what you accuse me of. Right?
Yes, I'm trying to, Skylar, I'm trying to talk to you here.
Okay, yeah, you want to fucking laugh a minute ago, right? And play fucking games? Now you got me serious. Now fucking answer the question.
I'm trying to answer the question. You're talking over me.
You're trying to answer the question. Just answer it.
Transphobia is defined as dislike of or prejudice against trans people.
That is not what my position was. Clown.
I got one sentence in and you instantly cut me off. Are you afraid of me establishing my argument or something?
Literally just showed that what I did was not that definition.
Do you think this makes you look good to your audience, man? Nobody is on your side on this. I'm trying to have a calm conversation with you.
Dude, stop it. Just either the definition you just gave did not match what I said.
I don't care. It's the definition.
Well, you just accused me of being this definition, asshole.
Okay.
That was the point. You accused me of being transphobic. Then you went and read the definition of transphobic, right? And then when I said, hey, what I said wasn't that definition, you're like, what's the point? I
tried to explain why what you said was transphobic. I've been trying to explain that. You keep cutting me off. Are you going to let me finish or not?
Definition. You just gave the definition.
Are you going to let me finish with what I was saying or not? Are you going to let me get one sentence in, or are you going to let me actually finish my point?
Just don't repeat yourself.
I'm not repeating myself. It is transphobic for someone to imply that despite their chosen gender identity, in this case, Leah Thomas, being a woman, a girl, identifying them as a biological male in spite of this is transphobic. Whether you like it or not, it is transphobic.
You said being a woman. What does that mean?
Being a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman.
So just anybody who identifies as something, it's being transphobic if saying that they can't. Biological woman. No, I don't see what you're saying. I don't see how that's transphobic by your definition.
Okay.
What am I doing that fits your definition?
You are, are you, when you said biological male, you were referring to...
don't question it
When
now.
You said biological male, you were referring to Leah Thomas, right?
He's a biological
woman. Yeah, that's transphobic, dude.
That's stating a fact.
It's a transphobic fact.
Transphobia is stating facts. This is the best I'm going to get.
Can I ask you a question then? How would this swimmer have even known? How would this swimmer have even known that Leah Thomas was trans?
Is it anti-Semitic to say that 7 million Jews were killed by Hitler?
How would Leah Thomas have known, or how would this other swimmer have known Leah Thomas was trans? How did they know? I think she passes quite well, so I'm really curious.
Well, they probably saw her dick in the locker room.
Yeah, why were they looking at her dick in the locker room?
Because, I don't know about you. I've been in another locker room with dudes. Wasn't going to look at their dicks, but I seen them.
When I was in a locker room in high school changing for swim, I looked down at the ground, as did every other guy in that locker room, because we were all teenagers. Yes, we were like teenagers. We're all ashamed of our bodies when we're teenagers.
So why do you want Leah Thomas to have to be in a room with a dick?
Well, Leah Thomas is the trans swimmer.
I'm sorry, the person. Yeah, I know.
Because there's no harm in her being there.
Yes, to the girl there's
what harm?
She doesn't want to see it. She doesn't want to see it.
Okay, so?
Okay.
Well then let me ask you this. Hold on, because I've been thinking about this. I actually...
You just want to take away people's freedoms. You don't want to let people have rights. You just want to say, I'm right. But this, like, anybody can identify as anything.
So he's
right?
removed
And
me
then
from the stream
everybody else in
because I keep
society
trying
has
to
to
explain
dictate
to him.
and live by those beliefs as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
Skylar, I actually have been thinking about this, and I have a way that I think I can illustrate this to you quite well, okay? But you have to let me set it up, all right? I promise I'm not, this is not like meandering.
Just get to the fucking, you drive me nuts when you
all
talk more about the
so
other
let's
stuff
say, let's say you're a principal, okay? You're a principal at a high school. And two students come up to you. One of them is a white girl and one of them is a black girl. And the white girl tells you that she is being harmed by the black girl drinking from the water fountain next to her. What do you do?
It would be factually incorrect that she's being harmed.
Why? Wait, what? Factual? What are you talking about? She's being harmed.
Harm is not the standard of why a woman shouldn't have to be in the same dressing room as a biological male. It doesn't have to be the start.
Well, then what is the standard?
There's all different reasons. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be harm, though.
Okay, but I'm asking. Then I'm asking what your standard is for keeping her out.
No, because I respect a woman's right to choose that she doesn't want to get changed in front of a biological.
Yeah, why wouldn't you respect a woman's right to choose if she doesn't want to drink water next to a black girl?
She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to get changed. You're talking about.
No, it's exactly the same. That's the problem.
Let me ask you this: if a white girl walked up to you and said she identifies as black, would you say she's black?
No, because that's not an identity that we accept.
No,
accept
actually,
as valid.
transracial is more. Transracial is actually more of a reality than fucking transgender.
Cool. I noticed that you didn't actually answer my hypothetical.
I know, cool.
You didn't answer my. Well, you avoided my hypothetical, which I think illustrates the situation here quite well.
Your hypothetical was built on a straw man of your own.
No, it's not a straw man.
Why say yes? It is. It's about harm. You made the principle of harm. I don't.
Then what is the principle you choose to use to keep Leah Thomas out of the locker room? What is the principle you're using? I'm asking you now.
I'm going to put you back.
Oh my God.
Talk because you can't seem to stop interrupting.
Oh my God.
Right? And you wonder why.
This is unbelievable.
No can see you
he is so fragile.
I'll keep it going. Are you streaming live to your own channel right now?
Skylar, I don't have a channel.
I'm asking you, I know that. Yeah, I know. Are you you don't have a channel?
No. I have a YouTube channel I intend to put a recording of this debate on, but honestly, I'm not quite sure about that now. It's not really a productive conversation.
Okay. Clowns like this.
I'm a clown.
Who just make emotional arguments, right? Just want to dismiss. You want to dismiss women have any right not to be around nude biological men. You want to just make a mockery of it and pretend women don't have rights, right? That's fine, dude. Right? It's okay. It's okay with me. Go ahead.
Are we going to have a conversation?
I'll let you go, man, if you want to go.
No, I don't want to go. I want to talk to you, dude. I want to talk to you. You are throwing a tantrum.
That's all you got to do. Right? When we do this drama, we're talking about, hey, you're going to let me make a talk? You're going to let me make a point? Can I give a whole minute? Let's talk. Right? You're the asshole, start laughing and making a mockery in the beginning of this conversation. You turn the tone of this shit that could have been a really good conversation into this tone now, because now I'm pissed off because you're an asshole. I wasn't willing to listen. Now, when I go back and put you back on, if you're ready to make your argument or you have a specific question, ask the fucking question.
Yeah, my specific question is this. You are a principal of a high school. Two girls come up to you. One is white, one is black. The white one says that she's being harmed by the black girl drinking water from the water fountain next to her. What do you do?
Tell her I don't give a fuck about her feelings.
Okay, well, that's what I would say to the girl who was in the locker room with Leah Thomas. I see those two situations as identical.
But that's not illegal. Okay, good.
Well, I'm curious why you
we're
don't.
Just here arguing. It's just arguing opinions. Okay, I respect people's privacy. That's why.
Well, what does this have to do with? It's a locker room. You don't really have privacy in a locker room to begin with.
No, you do actually. Yeah, there's no men typically in the.
Well, there wasn't a man in this locker room.
There is.
No, there's a trans girl, but not a man.
It's a biological.
Okay, see, and again,
does she have a penis? Does the girl have a penis?
Some girls do.
No, did Leah Thomas?
I don't actually know, and I think it's kind of weird that you're interested.
Well, why would no? Why would the person report that she saw Leah Thomas's penis in the locker room if she doesn't have a penis?
I mean, I couldn't tell you, dude.
Okay, that just makes sense because you really don't.
But I don't see what harm seeing a penis has.
Yeah, like I said, you could say it's not harmful, but it's about respecting other people's privacy.
Wait, hold on. Is respect the threshold for you then? Is that what you're operating off of? I'm asking genuinely.
It would depend on whatever kind of context of whatever particular situation.
Well, for this situation,
we're talking about. Right, I respect the woman's privacy to say, hey, listen, I don't want to get changed in front of a biological male.
Okay, so what about Leah Thomas's privacy?
Her privacy, if she's saying, hey, she doesn't want to get changed in front of biological women, is that what you're saying?
No, well, let me ask you, would you send her into the men's locker room then?
No.
Okay, so that
I would just.
Well, okay, so this is kind of where I
wouldn't force anybody to do anything. That's the fucking point. That's the difference between you and I. You're saying, hey, force the women in there to have to look at Leah Thomas.
Force is really charged language, dude. I'm not trying to force anything, but I do think that in these situations, you do have to take one side or the other. And I'm just choosing to side with the marginalized person in this regard.
Yeah, women aren't marginalized.
No, but trans women are. Well, women certainly are, but trans women are marginalized far more. Are you kidding? You're laughing. See, now you're the one laughing.
Yeah, I am laughing. Like, you're like, I side with the marginalized.
Yeah, I do.
Women are marginalized.
Yeah, but trans women are marginalized even more. Black trans women even more so.
Can you show, do you have like data that shows different?
This was not a debate I was asked to prepare anything for.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see, like, I could read it and then. You want to talk about, like, do you think children should go under gender affirming care?
Are you talking about hormone blockers?
Hormone therapy, feminizing hormone therapy.
Well, if you're talking about hormone blockers, like puberty blockers,
no, I'm talking about feminizing hormone therapy.
I don't know where that's happening. I mean, that would be a rare case thing that would be up to you and your doctor, and that doesn't happen very often.
I'm going to put right here in the side chat a link to this is from the Mayo Clinic.
Sure.
All right, and this is going to explain it. Let's see how I do this here. Banner, comments. How do I switch back? Are you able to see the live chat?
Like the comments or the private chat?
The outside chat. Let me see if I can put it in here.
I can see something that says private chat. Comments, got it.
Yeah. So I put it. This is the comments from the show too. So if you want to see what people are saying or talking about, there it is, right there. That's the Mayo Clinic, right? So this is very helpful. Let's go through this real quick. All right. Do you see the screen?
Yeah. Wait, your screen? Okay. Are you sharing screen? Okay, I got you now.
Yeah, you see on the main screen. Yeah. All right, and I'll zoom in just a little closer.
I am gonna have to get out of here. I'm actually feeling quite queasy. I might have to go in a second.
Okay. This is the Mayo Clinic, which is a very reputable organization. Feminizing hormone therapy typically uses by transgender women and non-binary.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this study actually.
Okay, good. So you know what the negative effects are.
Well, yeah, but I think that they far outweigh the negative effects of not having gender affirming care as a trans kid.
Okay, and what in this study is used as the positive effects that you're referring to?
What does that have to do with what I just said?
No, because you just said it was better than the negative.
Well, yeah, the negative effects are trans kids kill themselves.
Okay, so what are the positive effects, and how are the positive?
The positive effects are they don't kill themselves.
No. You're not misunderstanding. I'm saying the treatment, right? Yes. What the it's not.
You're talking about the hormone therapy.
There's actually the hormone therapy. What does the hormone therapy do in order to convince them not to kill themselves?
It makes them feel more comfortable in their physical body, and with the like the hormone blockers, like the puberty blockers, delaying puberty and preventing a trans person from like going through a puberty that they don't want to experience can like drastically decrease their rate of suicide. Like drastically so. Even if they end up like going off of the hormone blockers and later just going through like the puberty of the gender they were assigned at birth, their rate of suicide like drastically drops.
Okay. And how is that done through the medication?
Well, because the medication helps prevent the effects of the puberty that they wouldn't want to experience.
Excellent. What's that doing? It's changing their body, right? It's not allowing puberty to go.
Well, yes, but you can stop the puberty blockers and puberty resumes as normal.
Before you interrupt me, you want to have a conversation, or I'm gonna get fucking frustrated again. Let me finish what I was saying, right? The whole point is they give these medications to physically alter the child's body so that their mind, right? Because what the issue is they have gender dysphoria. They don't connect with their physical body. So the answer by these doctors is to change the physical body instead of fixing the false perception of reality, right? If it was just about identifying as something, you don't need the pills. We don't need the medications. And if your argument to me is that somebody is going to commit suicide because they have to go through fucking puberty because they don't like who they are, that's psychiatric treatment, my man. You don't sit there and change their physical body so that their false sense of reality now matches their physical body. Go ahead.
Hold on. So you said it's psychiatric help, and I would agree. In a similar manner that we're like really careful about putting like, say, schizophrenic children on antipsychotic medication. The reason that like doctors are like really careful about doing that is because there can be major health consequences and mental health consequences from being on those medications for an extended period of time, especially during formative periods. But like we still, but we still do it. That's what I'm saying is like if.
That's not anything dealing with what I was saying.
Well, you said it was psychiatric, and I'm saying, well, schizophrenia is also a psychiatric disorder.
No, yeah, but no. In a psych, see, that's the mishap, right? In something like schizophrenia, you can't cure that through psychiatry, right? There's a brain chemical problem.
Well,
hold on.
Sure.
The chemicals in their brains have to be treated with medications. Okay, in a transgender treatment, the medications aren't working with the brain chemicals, right? We're not trying to change the way someone thinks, or like somebody who has depression, trying to give them more serotonin to make them more happy, right? What these medications are doing is changing their physical body to represent what their illusion is in their mind, the gender dysphoria. And by changing their body, right, now they feel better about themselves and they're less likely to commit suicide.
See, it's when you say things like illusion that it really, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that
a biological male is not a woman. Changing your biology by giving it medicine to make it look more like a woman, and that's what the medicine is doing. It's making you grow breasts.
Skylar, what is a woman?
It's making you have less hair.
What is a woman?
A woman, Jesus Christ. Are you talking about biological or?
I am asking you what a woman is to you.
Woman,
not a biological woman, just a woman.
No, I'm going to finish my thought. You're getting off the fucking topic. Once again, the medication we are talking about, right? You say it's not a delusion. What is when a doctor goes through, they have, I'm forgetting the name of the term now, what's the technical scientific term for a trans person? When they body gender dysphoria.
Some trans people have gender dysphoria, yes.
Gender dysphoria, okay? The cure the doctors are giving the people who have gender dysphoria, and by definition, gender dysphoria is believing you are trapped in the wrong body, that your biological body is not the correct body. That is by definition a delusion. It is not matched by reality, right? And what the doctors are doing is giving them medications to change their body so that that person thinks their body now fits more like the delusion they have.
By what authority are you declaring it a delusion, I guess?
It's not, okay, a delusion is anything that is believed by someone that does not match physical reality.
That is really vague, dude. That is a wide generalization.
So if someone believes something about reality that is untrue, that's not a delusion.
If somebody believes something
about reality and it's not true, it's a delusion.
It's not true. It's a delusion. Okay, so how do you deign to tell trans people that their gender identities aren't true then, according to reality?
It's by definition of the problem. It's trans dysphoria.
Well, but definitionally, we can, like, words mean whatever we want them to mean. We can change the meaning of words to serve.
We are not going to do this, right, dude? We're not going to all of a sudden make an argument about how.
No, this is part of the argument. So I'm not really sure.
Really relevant or important. We'll just change the meanings of words, dude. This is.
Skylar, it's part of the argument. I can't help that you're getting frustrated by it. It's part of my position. If you want to have a conversation, I need to be able to actually share my position to you.
Well, okay, if then we will be unable to communicate. If you can't accept basic definitions like what gender dysphoria is, why are we having a conversation about it?
Because I don't know what basic definitions mean. I don't know what accept basic definitions.
Dictionary definitions.
The dictionary doesn't agree with you in this regard. It agrees with me. So I don't think you want to appeal to that authority, which would be a false one anyways.
Okay, what's the dictionary definition?
Of gender?
You said it would disagree with me? Hold on. Because actually on the website here, hold on. Oh, here it is on the Mayo Clinic. Why is it done? Feminizing hormone therapy is used to change the body's hormone levels. Those hormone changes trigger physical changes that help better align the body with the person's gender identity. That's what they're choosing. Their gender identity is that they are the opposite sex, bro. Why do you think a man that's biological men start to try to transition to what we call a woman?
Well, not everybody
characteristics
does.
of a woman. Not everybody, I know. But back to my point.
Well, you said why would an assigned male at birth I'm trying to clarify. I'm trying to clarify to understand.
I want to go back to my point. It's a
okay, fine.
So that's how the medication is used, right? And it's different. Why not just use regular psychiatry, right? If someone's going to kill themselves for whatever reason, right? It's because they don't want, like you say, they don't want to go through puberty, right? Because they have this, like, why don't, here, let me ask you that question. You said they don't want to go through puberty. Why?
Because for some of them, because they're gender dysphoric.
Okay, but what does that mean?
Well, that means that they realize that their gender identity doesn't correspond with the physical body that they currently have.
Oh, so it doesn't correspond to reality.
No.
That's it doesn't.
But if they alter their body and then their body is physically altered, is it not like not a real body? Like, I don't understand this. That's not my point. Really arbitrary. The standard you're applying.
This is just opinionating. You're just giving me your opinion.
So are you. We're just having a discussion about our opinions.
I'm telling you how the process works, right? And then you're questioning the process as if it's not the process. And then you're questioning the definition of what a trans person is. Or someone with trans dysphoria.
No, I can define I can tell you how I identify a trans person very easily.
I don't care about your personal definitions. Have you read the book 1984?
I saw you mention this. Have you?
No, I know, but have you read the book?
Yes, and I'm part of InkSoc. We want to change all the definitions. What kind of an appeal is that?
But you understand that's what they were doing. That's the problem.
No.
Right? That's what his job was. They literally changed everything, the words, what the meanings of the words were, right? Because it conflates arguments, really, is part of the problem. And we can't have honest communication with each other. When people use language, just like when I talk to Christians, you're not a Christian, right? I debate Christians all the times on their religion, right? If they start using language that isn't associated with the Bible, or using scripture that isn't actually or they're using language that isn't actually Christian, right? I can recognize that, right? And it's like I have to call them out. It's like, dude, we're talking past each other if I don't know what you mean or what you're trying to tell me. If I'm saying something, you don't know what I mean, right? And it's just, and it's also a political idea. You're using it in politics, right? That's the thing. It's more, you're using it politically, like 1984. And that's more my issue with you trying to redefine words for your own political agenda.
The political agenda that I would have in that regard would be to make people happy. So I would see that as a noble goal.
Well, then why you don't want to make the woman who doesn't want to be in a locker room with a biological male
just in the way that I wouldn't necessarily care about making the girl who complained about the black girl drinking water next to her happy. I don't care about making bigots happy. I care about making marginalized people happy.
How would you define a bigot?
I would define a bigot as anyone who is prejudiced against someone based on, really prejudiced against anyone or anything. But in this regard, probably, are you referring specifically to like a transphobic person? Because I know we've already gone over that. Bigot is a really,
what do you want to talk about, man? What else are you going to bring up?
No, we're not done. This is all I wanted to talk about because I don't feel like you've actually answered any of my questions here.
Well, yeah, ask away.
Well, can you answer that hypothetical that I posed to you and explain to me what the difference is?
I forgot. You're talking about the black girl at the water
Yes.
fountain?
Can you explain to me what the difference is between that situation and the locker room situation?
Yeah, one person's actually black. The other person isn't actually a woman.
No. What?
It's not a
okay,
woman.
So what? That's pretty arbitrary. So this girl's black, so it's fine, but this girl's trans.
You know what the definition of arbitrary is? That's not. You don't know what the definition of arbitrary is. You just use that word. It's got
Sorry, that was a joke.
I
was joking.
So, yeah, it's not. I could just say it's arbitrary for you to say that black people. If you want to make that same lame argument about it's just arbitrary.
It is arbitrary. No, it is arbitrary. That's what I'm saying. It is arbitrary.
Yeah.
But the arguments that you're making now and some of the arguments that you were making on Twitter are identical rhetorically to arguments that would have been made against desegregating schools in the 1950s. That's my problem.
Not. Well, one is dealing with real people, black
trans people
right?
are real people too. That's incredibly fucking vile. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're not real. Like a trans woman isn't a real woman.
I see. How do you figure that, sports fan?
Well, one would be they have penises.
Okay.
Right, and they don't have the right chromosomes.
So a woman can't have a penis?
Is there certain chromosomes that are associated with women and men, right?
Well, yes, but there's, I mean,
right. So what is that? It's XO and XY.
I believe you were told already that some cis women are XY and some cis men are XX.
Yeah.
So that's a weird thing for you to
there
appeal
is two
to.
biological there's two biological sexes. Two different.
No, sex exists along a bimodal distribution model.
Didn't answer the question.
Sex exists along a bimodal distribution model. All biologists acknowledge this.
Okay. Once again, what was your original question?
My question is why you would defer to the minority in the hypothetical situation I posed
because
you.
One is once again, you have someone saying, "Hey, I'm a woman," but yet still have.
Hey, I'm white. I'm hurt by this black person drinking water near me. I have nightmares about it. It bothers me. It freaks me out. I'm afraid for my life.
I can't help you if you missed the point, bro.
No, you're the one missing the point here.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, to answer your question, do you have another one? You just don't like the
No,
answer.
you still haven't really answered me satisfactorily on what the difference is.
That's fine. Then you can ask a different question because I'm not going to answer it again.
I mean, I don't know where to go from here.
Okay, we could just say goodbye then.
That's up to you. I'm perfectly willing to keep talking.
Okay. Then ask questions.
Why don't you ask me a question?
I don't have a question for you.
You don't have any questions for me?
No. I've went over.
Okay, then fine. I have a question.
See, I start talking and you interrupt.
I'm sorry. That was me. I'm sorry.
All right. So the one I wanted to bring you on was just once again to show you like how far like people like you go when you go right to calling people transphobes. You have no clue about my history. You get upset with one thing I said, right? You saw me arguing. I can guarantee you I've done more for fucking the LGBTQ community than you fucking
That's
ever have.
great.
Yeah, right? Yeah, because you just talk on the fucking internet.
Well,
right?
Isn't that what you're doing right now?
You're on Twitter, yeah. Yeah. Because I asked you to debate this particular topic. I'm not fucking trying to fight for trans issues right now, or am I?
Well, clearly not.
I already think they should have rights. Yeah, I already think they should have rights, asshole. Right? I was doing that 10, 15 years ago when you were fucking a baby, probably.
Your rhetoric indicates the opposite. And if you're really in favor of like promoting rights for trans people,
what have you done?
Okay, this is a ridiculous argument.
No, you're saying rhetoric is more important, like not as important as action, right?
I didn't say that. That seems to be what you're implying. That's
okay. Is
not what I
action
said.
More important than rhetoric? What's more important, action or rhetoric?
For the purposes of this debate, rhetoric.
No, it's not for I said in general, like when you're dealing with something like fighting for trans rights, gay rights, black rights, right? What's more important, rhetoric or action?
I would say action.
Right. And that's the shit I've been doing.
Okay, cool. Thank you for your activism.
You're a social justice warrior. This is what we do. The new left, we argue on Twitter with other people, and we do debates.
You sound very triggered.
How we fight for fucking social justice. No, I am a little triggered actually, but look, you're borrowing them from the right there. I like it.
Borrowing from the right, dude. You sound legitimately upset. You've sounded upset this whole time. Like this is why I keep apologizing. I'm not trying to upset you here. I just
want a conversation, bro. If you got a question, we can.
Okay, I've got a question. Can you give me your definition of a woman?
Yeah, I define women as a woman would be an adult human female.
Oh, okay. So are like kids that are like under 18 but are assigned female at birth, are they not like considered women then?
What?
Like,
say that again. You didn't follow my definition. I said adult.
Yeah, you said woman. Adult.
You said, what is a woman? An adult human female. Yeah. I'm sorry. An adult human female is what a woman is. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. What's your question? Follow up.
Okay, so then so you draw the line at adult at like 18 then, I'm assuming?
I don't have a particular age. I'm just.
Well, when does someone turn from a girl into a woman?
What's the relevant? I don't know. Why are we going?
Well, this definition is completely untenable if we break it down bit by bit, which is what I'm attempting to do here.
Okay. Well, okay. And then can we go through your definition of a woman and I
Sure.
can show you why it's untenable?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
I would prefer
Let's
that.
do it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Go through mine first.
Okay, well, so adult, when does someone stop being a girl and become a woman?
Let's just hypothetically say when they hit puberty.
When they hit puberty. But they're not an adult when they've started puberty. That's the process of them becoming an adult.
No, okay, let's just say 17 then. Fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay, but they're still going.
I'm going to give you an arbitrary. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter.
The specific age doesn't matter. What is your objection to the definition?
My objection to the definition is that it's not inclusive and it doesn't include all women.
Oh, it's just not what you want it to be. Okay.
Well, yeah, definitions should be what we want them to be.
Okay, it's great. I mean, but there's nothing I can argue with you on that, right? I get it. That's your feelings. We can move on. There's
Well,
nothing
you
I can
said you
argue
wanted
about.
to interrogate my definition.
Okay, yeah. What's your
A
definition?
woman is anyone who identifies as a woman, meaning anyone who identifies with or ascribes to social characteristics commonly belonging to women.
Commonly by what standard?
Commonly, as in like socially, like this is the kinds of things that we consider to be like long dresses, jewelry, long hair.
Yeah.
These are things that we
Are you
generally
talking-
associate with femininity and
Are you
womanhood.
talking about American culture?
I'm talking about all
specifically?
culture. So a trans woman in like Saudi
No, that's
Arabia
not
would
true.
probably wear a burqa.
Cultures
I
have
guess.
all different types. No, all types of cultures have different types of clothing. Things that aren't generally related to male and female. Is the stuff you were listing, like jewelry or like a long dress,
sure.
or something like that. So I don't. Are you saying so? Basically, what your definition is my definition of a woman is American characteristics built by society and what a traditional woman.
No.
Is.
So and
they have to identify.
Okay.
As that. And they have to
No, the only
identify
thing
as
they
that,
have to
right.
do is identify. Excuse me. But a woman in
That's a useless definition.
a woman in Saudi Arabia would be someone who ascribes to the social characteristics generally assigned to a woman in Saudi Arabia. It's not just because they were. I was giving an example.
Yeah, sure. Once again, you're just telling me that what a woman is someone who identifies as a woman, and that woman is trying to follow characteristics of society is put.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a useless definition.
It's not
It doesn't help
useless.
me with anything. Well, I mean, it might be useful to you. It's just
Well, it's
not
incredibly
useful
useful.
to
It
me at
describes
all.
all women.
No, why would I? Okay, by describing women in that way, how does it?
Well, what women am I Well,
No. Well, that's
okay,
okay.
yeah.
You
Hold
said
on, I'll answer your
describes
question
women.
because I think that I think that we
information
construct
it gives-
definitions to
Hold
our
on.
words.
What is the
Okay.
specific information that it gives me that I wouldn't have by using that definition?
It includes trans women. It includes anyone who is in like an intersex condition, but decides to go more towards the female end of the spectrum.
It's just about inclusion. That's all.
Well, yeah, that's what our definition should be, shouldn't it?
Okay, I just don't accept your definition. It's okay. There's no we can argue about. We just have different definitions.
I mean, okay.
I think it's a silly definition. I mean, it's up to you. You can feel.
Well,
however
that's
you
not
want
really an
about it.
argument.
It's not. It's not an argument. I'm not trying to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to argue opinions with you, right? I'm not going to argue what movie's the best movie with you or the best music. What's the best band with you, right?
Isn't that
We
why
all
you
have our
brought me
favorites.
on?
We all have our. It is. We all have our own favorites. It's your opinion that we should define words like this. Okay, it's not objective.
This seems like a really kind of cowardly retreat. Didn't we come on here to discuss our opinions?
So now we're using words like coward.
Well, I don't know. I'm just
conversation back up?
confused at this point.
Do you want to bring the conversation?
You ask
level
me a
back up to
question. You
aggressive?
ask me a question about my position. I answer it, and then you go, "Well, this is just silly. This is just silly."
So that's fine. It's ad hominem.
It's not ad hominem. How I
because I'm
feel
telling you
sitting
my
here,
opinion.
confused.
Sure. Okay. You've told me you're confused. I can't help you with your confusion, right? I can't help you understand why a definition that has no particulars besides saying I identify as a woman, because even the cultural aspects will change.
Yeah.
Right. You're trying to.
That's why the definition continues to have utility.
I'm not fucking finished talking. I'm gonna have to put you back every time. You keep interrupting, right? So. Once again, and you want to get rid of these social constructs that these folks are changing into. But it has it applies nothing to me in life to help me understand anything about women by just saying a woman is anybody who identifies as a woman. It's all it tells me is somebody identifies as a woman. That's all it's telling me.
Yeah, but don't all women identify as women?
It doesn't tell me anything.
Well, what do you mean? I don't understand. Are you accusing it of being a circular definition by chance?
I'm saying your definition has no use to it. There's nothing that I can use it for in any context that's going to be helpful. To me.
Well, so there's another tack we can go down here. What is a chair?
Do you want a dictionary definition?
No, I want you to describe to me what to you is a chair.
Chair is I'm going to read the definition. This is just silly. I don't sit there and argue my subjective opinions about things, bro. Right? Like when I have debates, I want to debate the facts. Right? I don't want to sit there and play these games.
Well,
where we
so the
change the words
problem
and
in
mean
this
to fit our
regard
own
would be the
fucking thing.
facts are on my side in regards to gender and sex being
I mean,
different
saying
things.
that's not what I'm arguing. I'm not arguing that sex and gender aren't different things.
Okay.
Right? I know gender is a made-up concept that people have created.
Yes.
Right? Sex, biological sex is something we can measure in a lab.
Yes, but it's
Right?
also an arbitrary
chromosomes.
distinction that
Yeah.
we draw.
It doesn't matter. Everything's an arbitrary distinction.
Yeah.
By that
No, it is. No, it is.
So then there's no point to saying it's arbitrary if everything else is arbitrary.
Well, there is, to illustrate that you
It's like,
taking
oh,
such
me
onus
driving a
over
car
the
is
distinctions
arbitrary.
that we do draw
No, it's
is
not.
like
It's
irrational. When everything is really arbitrary, why is changing our definition such a big deal?
You're saying everything. You're just saying everything's arbitrary.
You agreed with me everything is arbitrary.
No, I
okay.
don't. I don't.
Then
no,
what
I said
isn't?
by your definition. No, I said by the way you're defining it, everything is arbitrary. It's not that I agree everything's arbitrary. I'm using, like, I'm thinking about the situation using facts. You're
What
not.
are okay?
You're
what facts?
redefining words.
What facts?
Like redefining words. All right. Let's get. You want to switch to a different topic?
No, I want you to tell me what facts I'm not using.
Okay.
I like being a smart person and like having correct opinions. So I want you to actually have a dialogue with me, because if I'm wrong, I'll change my position. Like, I'm willing to change my position when we go to, like, when we come up with, I am encountered with new ideas that I can't counter. I'm perfectly willing to do that.
Statement, right?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You agree with the statement by Carol? Gender is a made-up concept.
Sure.
Right? Gender's Carol, so you can quote him too. My opponent that I'm talking with agrees. Do you disagree that gender is a made-up concept, Carol?
Oh, sorry.
No, not
sorry.
you. You don't disagree. Yeah. I just had to read some of these things. It's always fun. All right. You have another question?
Yeah. What facts are you appealing to that I'm not?
Well, most of the time I haven't been just giving you my opinion, right? When we were talking about feminism and hormone therapy.
Yeah, I acknowledge that
there. Of the dangers of what we can go through, the dangers of that, how it affects children. We talked about. I acknowledged all the facts of how the process worked, right? I literally broke down what the reason was, what the
for puberty blockers you're talking about. Just make sure I'm following.
No, feminizing hormone therapy. So there's a bunch of different medications used for.
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Okay, so I don't know. It just felt like you.
Well, I was talking
about the
puberty
risk real
blockers.
quick. Let's talk about the risk. Blood clots in deep veins are in the lungs. Heart problems. High levels of triglycerides. Types of fat in the blood. High levels of potassium in the blood.
Those sound like potentially like fatal side effects. Yeah. You know what else is fatal?
Yeah. Now hold on. I'm not
killing
I'm not
yourself.
Done. Nipple. I'm not. Yeah. You know what? What you've done is you've created an either-or scenario, right? It's either they kill themselves or do this treatment, and that's a false dichotomy, right? Because there are other options that can get you. Hold on, right? Don't pull an argument from ignorance.
What's the third option?
That's what
I'm asking now.
Dude. Okay, now I know. Okay, I'm going to put you backstage again because you're an asshole and keep interrupting me and what I'm saying to you. All right? So, when you say something like that to me, what's the third option? That is by definition an argument from ignorance, right? You have to, if you're going to make the claim, and this is the claim that you made, which is either these kids are going to commit suicide or we give them these medical treatments. That's the claim you made. Now, are you going to make that a true dichotomy? Or are you going to agree there could possibly be other options that you're not aware of?
As a skeptic, I always acknowledge that there are possibilities that I'm not aware of. However, you're the one who is arguing against the common medical consensus as to how people, specifically teens, with gender dysphoria should be treated. So the burden of proof is on you, my friend, not me.
Because that's not what I've read the papers. These papers aren't necessarily saying what you think they're saying. In fact, most of it, it's about how the parents treat the kids, actually. And it's actually part of it. I think it's part of this thing we have right here. Hold on a second, right? I want to go through with the symptoms. I want to continue. You cut me off when I was reading. I wasn't finished, by the way. It's still a long line of complications that come from giving kids, teens, medical and stuff. Type 2 diabetes. I mean, they can develop type 2 diabetes before even being a fucking adult because they're not happy with the body that they are. A stroke. Let's see. Evidence suggests that people who take feminizing hormone therapy may have an increased risk of breast cancer. when compared to cisgender men. Men whose cisgender aligns with social norms related to their sex assigned at birth, but the risk is not greater than that of cisgender women. To minimize risks, the goal of people thinking about feminizing hormone therapy is to keep hormone levels in the range that's typical of a cisgender woman. Now that's interesting, right? Why is the goal of the therapy to change the physical body to a cisgender woman?
Well, if it's someone who is a trans woman, then that makes sense, doesn't it?
It just means they want it.
Well,
right?
yes, because it makes them happy.
So should people? So just because somebody desires something, right, views that their body should be something that it's not. Same thing as anorexia, right? Anorexia follows the same pattern. Someone who is anorexia believes they're overweight, right? They have the delusion that they are overweight, that they're eating too much, right? And they starve themselves, right? The difference in transgender is we just give them medications or we do physical surgeries that alter them. Go on.
Well, the difference actually would be that leaving people with anorexia to live their life as they see is the correct way to live it would result in their deaths, whereas denying people, the trans people, the way that they want to live their lives is what results in their deaths.
That you're just literally theorizing what people will do.
No, I'm not. There are statistics to back this up, dude. There are people dying because of this.
There are lots of reasons trans kids will commit suicide, right? It's not specifically because they don't look like the opposite sex.
No, it's because their families don't accept them.
No, yeah, I know that's the fucking issue.
But your language contributes to a societal.
Jesus,
oh my
shut
God.
the fuck up for a second. This is the point, right? This is the shit you should be fighting for, which is you fight for the kids in these right-wing goddamn religious families that are telling them they're wrong. But what the solution is not is going and changing these kids and teens' physical body to change a delusion that they have about themselves. One that could cause type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke. Dude, think about what you're saying.
This medication can cause red, peeling, or blistering skin, rash, hives, itching, swelling of the face, throat, tongue, lips, eyes, hands, feet, ankles, or lower legs, hoarseness, and difficulty breathing or swallowing. Why would anyone take that? Oh, it's because it's Tylenol. Every medication has side effects. Every single one. You weigh the benefits of taking it versus not.
You're treating a physical headache.
You are drawing an arbitrary distinction here.
No, you are. No, it is. Everything is arbitrary to you. So it doesn't matter. Saying the word arbitrary in front of something and saying everything is arbitrary. Once again, just like the woman definition, you've made the word arbitrary meaningless.
I can't read Wittgenstein for you, dude. You got to do that yourself.
I know you can't. So you can go if you need to. But here's the thing, right? The difference is someone actually has a thing in their brain that's physically hurting, right? So they have to take the medication in order to, just in case, right? You don't have to take the medication in order to solve trans suicide like you falsely put up as a false dichotomy. You want to just go, hey, let's fucking change kids' bodies, right? This is a better solution. Let's change the kids' bodies to the delusion, right? Why wouldn't you say that to an anorexic person? Why would you say, oh no, yeah, you are fat, right? Why would you want to honor what they believe? Because what? Just because it hurts them? Because it might be hurting them? Is that the arbitrary reason? Right? If we want to call everything arbitrary? Go ahead.
May I ask you a question? Are you a medical doctor?
No, I'm not a scientist either.
Okay, well, neither am I.
I haven't studied I'm not a theologian.
Well,
right?
I mean, honestly, you might be qualified to consider yourself one if you've read the Bible enough times. I honestly don't know how much those guys know beyond how to read Hebrew and Greek beyond that, but...
Well, to be clear today, when you ask me if I'm a doctor, I'm the one who's brought up scientific research.
Medical doctor. Well, yes.
And you brought up no actual scientific research that you provided.
Proper.
Any data at all to argue any of the points that you've made. What's the point you're trying to?
So first of all, I'll just remind you.
Make
that
sure we don't even disagree.
I wasn't asked to prepare anything.
It's called a debate, bro. You prepped for a debate.
I prepped what I was asked to prepare.
I'm not your fucking life coach.
This is mayoclinic.org. This is the gender dysphoria page, and talking about how to treat it. Medical treatment of gender dysphoria might include hormone therapy, such as feminizing hormone therapy or masculinizing hormone therapy, surgery, such as feminizing surgery or masculinizing surgery to change the chest, external genitalia, internal genitalia, facial features, and body contour. This is the website that you appealed to before, and now it's agreeing with me. So my question to you would...
Whoa. What do you think? I don't disagree with anything you just read.
Okay.
It's telling you how they treat
your language, everything
no,
you've argued up to this point has been in spite of that.
Dude, you can't either follow me or what I'm saying. I literally was reading from the website. We were talking about what was on the website, dude.
Like the side effects of feminizing hormones, right?
Yeah. So and then you're saying I'm denying something. All you did was describe.
So okay, so I'll tell you. I'll make it very, very plain because for full disclosure, I'm autistic. So sometimes I connect thoughts in ways that make sense to me, but not to everyone else. Ask my partner, it happens all the time. The reason that I wanted to pull this up was because acknowledging that neither you nor I are a medical doctor, I think that it's in our best interest to broadly defer to the medical consensus. And the medical consensus for treating gender dysphoria seems to be using the hormone therapy that you're so against. But if you have another option, if you want to challenge the medical consensus, then I'm asking you, what are you challenging it with?
Are you would you like to go over a list of the times the medical consensus was wrong?
Would you like to go over a list of the times it was right?
No. Yeah, sure. But you would admit by appealing to authority, by saying, hey, the medical consensus says this, and they're right because they say this, we should go with this. That's an appeal to authority.
Well,
right? You're not actually, hold on. You're not actually arguing the merits of what they're saying.
Well,
right?
I don't have the knowledge to do that, neither do you.
I do. I'm actually reading the paper and going over what they said, what their facts are. You're backing out now because you're realizing you don't know as much about this topic as you. You are.
No, I'm not.
You're like, well, you're wiggling out. You're like, I don't.
No,
know.
absolutely not. I have not moved a single inch off of my positions.
Good. So then what we were talking about is the idea that, like I said, once again, and these papers go through what we're changing the whole concept is, and this is the concept I object to, right? Is that we are having children, teens, preteens, we are affecting their bodies. We are changing them to look like something they imagine of societal standards. And your argument for why we should go this methodology or go this route, this type of medical treatment, besides saying the appeal to authority, that's just a consensus, right, is that if not, they'll kill themselves, right? That is a false dichotomy. You haven't demonstrated that, right? What psychiatry changes, that's it. Doctors used to actually recommend cigarette smoking.
Yeah, I know. They were wrong on that one. But doctors also recommend antipsychotic medication for people with schizophrenia, and I think they're pretty fucking right. Did you see what happened to Kanye? Like, I think sometimes doctors get it right. This is this is...
Are you aware of when this started? Like when we're talking about the medications, when they started giving the children the types of like therapies we're doing here for transgender people?
Am I aware? Can you be a little bit more specific?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Can you be a little bit more specific? Which therapy? Which treatment specifically?
I was talking about initially like using feminizing.
I'm not familiar with the history. No.
Okay. Why would let me ask you this? Why would it be good for someone who's transitioning to a woman to have less orgasms?
So, why does a gender identity just boil down to sex to you? That's kind of creepy.
Well, no, this is one of the things it does, the medication.
Well,
sure. The amount of orgasms you're going to have.
But I know many trans women, and trust me, it's not always the case. Like all medications, it varies from person to person.
That's not dealing with one. But why would somebody want to do that?
Well, if it's that, or they have
it's not a side effect. That is part of what the
okay, sure. If it's that, or they have a higher risk of suicide, then I think that the weighing the odds.
You haven't shown that.
I've been working. So again, because I wasn't told to prepare anything, I didn't. However, I have a study right here: Association of Gender Identity Acceptance with Fewer Suicide Attempts Among Transgender and Non-Binary Youth.
Perfect. Put that in the chat real quick so I can.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I have to navigate full screen.
That's all right. It's okay. Wish there was an easier way. There is an internal
connect
one.
here.
If
I throw it in the private chat, can you throw it in the public one? Because I didn't set that up beforehand. I apologize.
No, that's all right.
So this.
Yeah. Okay. open link a new tab. Let me close some of these freaking tabs before my computer starts going crazy. Okay. So this is libertypub.com.
Okay.
Okay. This is I don't even know what kind of website this is, but let's read it. Okay. We don't have the associative gender identity acceptance with fewer suicide attempts. Okay. Purpose. There's nothing on this way. It's just
so if you read the under abstract, it says results. Each category of adult and pure gender identity acceptance was associated with lower odds of a past year suicide attempt.
Hold on. We're gonna show it on the screen.
Okay, sure.
We're gonna go over it.
And again, this is just me like Google fooing. I could prepare materials. I just didn't know I was supposed to.
You had all week.
Okay, well, Andrew specifically asked me to prepare studies. You didn't. So I've been doing work to prepare for that one.
I'm not Andrew.
I understand that.
Because Andrew does something a certain way doesn't mean everyone's going to do something a certain way.
Well, I understand that, but I don't.
Well,
because I'm not very familiar with the scene, and I don't think it's unfair. I don't think it's fair to impugn me for not preparing anything when I'm not that familiar with how
something. Let me help you out then. Start fucking preparing. Anytime you do.
Well, I've learned now. No, trust me, I've learned now.
Let this be a lesson learned. Okay, so what we have here on this libertypub.com, right? We have the source, but I can't go into the source information.
Yeah, but you can read the abstract. That's.
Yeah, I don't know if this abstract is what it's not. It's just saying something. Like I can't verify what it says, but let's read it. Hold on. I'm gonna read it for the audience. Like I can't verify any of this shit, and that's what I don't like. Okay, transgender, non-binary youth report more than 4 times greater rate of suicide attempts compared with their cisgender peers. I don't disagree with that, right? The problem is you haven't connected how the surgery will solve that problem.
There is no surgery for minors.
Not surgery,
with rare exception.
Treatment. Yes, dude, treatment. The medical treatment we were talking about, you haven't connected how that treatment will solve that problem. And once again, without you can do it, you already admitted that there is a possibility you could do it without the medication.
Yeah, absolutely. So a big part of trans youth acceptance is a social transition. In fact, that's usually what most gender therapists and doctors will encourage first before even turning to medication is social transition, as in like you get your family and your friends to start calling you by your chosen name and your chosen pronouns. You start dressing as the other gender, whatever your gender identity is. And then eventually, if you persist on that for long enough, your doctor will put you on feminizing hormones. And these kinds of things, hormone therapy, really, really help increase social acceptance, because unfortunately, the way that our minds work, we're not quite ready to accept the fact that someone who doesn't quite match our cis-normative view of what a man or a woman is might not be a man or a woman. We will always make these assumptions.
There are very few trans people I've seen that have actually passed for being the opposite sex.
Then, man, you ain't looking at the right trans people, because trust me, there's some that I can see that pass better than some cis women.
I've seen the blonde woman, right, that I think argues against trans people.
The blonde woman?
I don't know her name. It's a blonde trans woman that's very fucking hot for a trans woman. Like,
I'm pretty sure she's like 19.
No, she's not.
Is it Kelly Cadigan?
What is that? I don't know. I mean, what does it matter? Saying she's 19, are you trying to say that I'm into 19-year-olds? I'm not gonna
no.
I'm just saying she's traditional by fucking beautiful standards, what we call society.
I don't know. It's CADIGAN if you wanted to check if that's what you're talking about. That's why I thought.
It's really not that important. But I don't even know what we're talking about now.
Well, so I was.
Women don't. I mean, this idea that that a person's gonna make surgery. It's like saying, a woman gets breast augmentation and men don't know they're fake tits.
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
You know they're fake tits.
Not every time.
Like not every time, but as soon as you feel them, you will.
Okay, are you going? What?
You must not have felt fake tits before.
Trust me, I can tell the difference by touch, but by sight, certainly not.
You can. Oh my god! Yeah,
just like if you saw like a trans woman in public and she passed in every way, and then you were dating and you took her home.
I've seen one or two people in my whole life that have passed that I've not.
Well, this is just anecdotal. I mean, I could say every trans woman I've ever seen has passed.
Silly argument. I get it. We're having a silly argument. It is a silly argument.
Would you agree that starting the trans women you've seen that have passed, did they start hormone therapy early? I know Kelly Cadigan did. If that's who you're talking about, I know that's why I was trying to verify, because I know she started hormones early.
Yeah, that would like having her like that wouldn't like just say like okay, she used hormone isn't like going to change my opinion on it, right? Just because she looks more like a
Well, but you said
female
you've
doesn't change. It's about taking kids and not forcing them, having kids change their body to fight their illusion they have of what they're supposed to look
by
like.
what merit are you calling it an illusion?
We went over the definition earlier. What is it? The definition of transgender does it, right? Someone who has gender dysphoria looks in the mirror and sees themselves as a biological, whatever the opposite sex is, like sees themselves as that, has gender dysphoria, right? They are seeing reality in a way that is not true, just like an anorexic sees themselves as fat when they are not
The
fat.
definition, when I Google it, just says that there's someone whose gender identity differs from the one they were assigned based on their sex at birth.
You
It has
gotta
nothing
go-
to do with
let's-
gender
let's-
dysphoria.
Hold on. Let me get you a link. I'll get you the Mayo Clinic. We'll go back to the Mayo Clinic if I got to you. Jesus, man.
Well, but I've already told you that I ascribe to the
Hold
self-ID
on.
model.
Why is it done? It's right here. I'll read it again. Feminizing hormone therapies used to change the body's hormone levels. Those hormones trigger physical changes that help better align the bodies with the personal gender identity.
How is this proving
The
your
gender-
case
the
that gender
gender-
identities are alternative gender identities are an
Well,
illusion?
because it's not what we're talking about. You're straw man. You're moving. To
Well, that's
something
what
else.
you
I was
said
talking-
after,
We're
so,
talking
like-
about a delusion. We're talking about a delusion, something that doesn't match reality. The reason they're changing their body, what are they changing their body to? Right? They're growing breast once again. They're developing less hair, right? Because this is how they view biological women looking under their perception, right? That's why they take the medication to deny that that's like they don't see themselves as what they want and what they're changing their body into is ridiculous, dude. You're just being obtuse. Go
You're
ahead.
the one being obtuse. I'll ask you again. How is it a delusion, especially if they end up altering their body through surgery or hormones to look more like their chosen
It's not
gender
based on
identity?
reality. It's not based on
Okay, but
reality.
what does that mean?
That's a delusion. That's what a delusion
So
is.
you are what it
We
seems
went
like
over-
you're
we already
saying.
went- you even gave an example earlier, and we agreed on what a delusion was. We went through this whole definition, and you agreed with me.
I don't recall this. What definition did
Okay.
I agree with? Can you refresh my memory?
You were talking about correspondence to reality, that a trans person doesn't feel their body corresponds to reality.
Someone
what
with
you
gender
said.
dysphoria body. A trans person
Correct,
doesn't
right?
necessarily have to have gender dysphoria.
Yes. I'm talking about trans dysphoria.
Okay, sure.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
talking about. Okay, right? So by that definition, they are not viewing reality objectively. They don't see that their body is the correct
What is
body.
an objective
Correct
view of
body.
reality?
Oh my fuck you. You know what, dude? If you can't keep up,
That's a
you don't
fair
wanna have the
question.
conversation. What?
Well, so
There is
can I
objective-
just
there's objective-
quantify it real quick?
There is reality that we can measure that is objective to us.
Can I just quantify real quick? Because I'm like I mentioned in DMs, I'm an anti-theist, and you quote tweeted Matt Dillahunty, so I know that you're also familiar with him. I'm sympathetic to quite a few of his arguments, but above
not a
all,
big
it's
fan.
the idea of skepticism, right? So I am not confident enough to say that what I perceive as reality is the ultimate or objective sense of reality. So I'm asking you, what are you appealing to when you say objective reality?
Biological.
Okay, but biological sex is different from gender.
Yeah, but that's what somebody is trying to identify with. Like typically, right? If we're going to use both terms, let's use biological sex and gender, right? Typically, there would be a biological.
Can we use
sex
one at a
male.
time?
You'll understand what I'm saying,
Okay.
right? Biological sex male, right? We would use the word male, or I don't know if you want to use a different word. Doesn't matter. We use a different word, right? Then if we said their gender, right, we still might use the word male, right? But when we use the word gender, what you're referring to is a societal norms about what society views of what a man or boy should be,
Correct.
right? Okay, excellent. My overall point was with that. Where were we going with this? So what was the question you were asking? Maybe I'll pull it back around.
I was
Sorry.
asking you what sense of objective reality you were appealing to, and you responded with biological.
Yes. So yeah, when we talk about what that person is transitioning into, at some level is based on the biological.
Well,
right?
yes.
Because these genders are based on somewhat on the biological, like the female or masculine, whatever you want to say. attributes.
Well, right. So by taking feminizing hormones and getting body altering or undergoing gender reassignment surgery, they are altering the physical and biological reality of their bodies. Those hormones change your body chemistry. They don't just
you will never be a male, will never be a biological woman, and a woman will never be a biological.
Okay, are you just trying to upset me now? Like,
no, it's by definition. That's science.
Can you wait? A biological male will never be a biological female. I don't think that you have a bunch of trans women going out there and saying I can get pregnant just like normal women.
You asked me about how we measure it.
Not normal women, but
yeah. You asked me how I measure it in reality, right? Well, science can measure reality. Right, we have tools that help us measure reality. We can measure biological sex by chromosomes.
Yeah, but that's not what gender is.
So, yeah, but you asked me, but you were asking me specifically how I could, in a physical reality, like how we could measure things like this.
Well, I'm asking why you're saying that being trans, like a trans identity, is a delusion, and you referred to objective reality. And then when I pressed you on that, you said, "Oh, well, their biological sex doesn't align with their gender identity." And I acknowledge that those are two separate things.
Real easy. Why do they want to? What are they trying to change into?
Whatever they want. I don't know.
Let's say, yeah, no, but no, we got to be specific, right? Like we are talking. Like if a trans man, I'd say a man wants to transition to a woman. What's the reason? Let's say they have gender dysphoria.
Well, they would be uncomfortable. I mean, so now we are running down the same train that we've run down over and over and over again.
No, because it's getting to the heart of the definition, right? What's the reason a man with gender dysphoria would want to take medications, do physical surgeries in order to change their body to look more like what a biological woman?
Because their internal perception of their gender identity more closely aligns with the perception of what we believe a woman to be in society.
An internal perception, right? But it doesn't match reality.
Well,
because in reality, they're a biological.
But it's their reality.
Yeah, no, there's no such thing as their reality. It's their perception.
Everyone has their own subjective perception of reality.
Perception, but it's not. It does. There's still reality, my man.
I don't think that we as humans can access this objective ultimate reality you're appealing to.
No, you're saying you can't access objective reality.
No one really can. Well, are you defining objective reality as material reality? Because those are different. Those are philosophically distinct constructs.
You've led us down a rabbit hole. Again.
I'm asking you a direct question, Skylar. Is what you mean by objective reality material reality, meaning that which we can measure by material processes and science? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Then in that case, I would say material reality can't be challenged on most things.
Okay.
But that's not like when you say objective reality, and this is why I wanted to press you on it a little bit and get to what you were saying, because the only other time I've heard objective reality referred to is when I'm talking with theists. Well, and they use the same argument. They say being trans is against objective reality. Wait, what?
Personal perception.
Holy fucking shit. Fucking shit.
I keep having to use the word objective reality because you just tried to dilute us into a conversation about how everybody has their own perception of reality. That's fucking.
I can quantify these.
Sure, yeah. I don't have to argue about people's perception of reality. It's not what we're here for. We're talking about reality, not your fucking perception of it. The measurable reality that we exist in. I do want to say to my audience, listen, you're gonna be upset with me. I don't give a fuck, right? I don't care if you don't like what I have to say. I don't care. It's okay. I don't do the channel much anymore.
Can I ask you a question to kind of steelman my position a bit here? Do you think that someone who's blind experiences material reality in a way that's different to you?
Sure.
So do you think it's fair for you to appeal to a sense of reality when you're talking to them that like you might be privy to, but they aren't?
I do.
Okay, why?
I'm not going to handicap myself because they don't have an accurate representation of reality.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's not.
I always feel like we should meet people at the conversation, but
wait a minute. Was that like a yikes over using the word handicap?
Well, no, it was more of a yikes where I'm not going to limit myself to their perception just because they're blind. Like that's how that came across.
No, right? Like, let me give you an example, right? I'm not going to be racist when I'm around racist people, or if someone says
that's not analogous.
That's an ignorant. That is someone who has a false perception well, it's not even, it's really an opinion. I guess I couldn't say it's a false perception of reality. But let's say that I have actually my grandmother went through where your mind deteriorates.
Dementia.
And she started forgetting everything.
Dementia. Yeah, my grandfather did as well.
Right. She didn't know what reality was, right, sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? There was times she had to take her medication.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't go into her and be like, oh, yeah, you're right in your reality. You don't have to take your medication. You already took it. No. I'm going to use that information that I have, right? That stuff that I may even be a step above. Maybe they aren't able to perceive reality in the same way I am. And I'm gonna do it either way.
But without
right?
provoking emotion, and I genuinely don't want to, because again, like I said, my grandfather also had dementia. When your grandmother would become confused, would you like try and gently correct, or would you go, no, that's against material reality. I'm not gonna lower myself to where you are, just to like you would approach them at the level of conversation, right?
Yeah, you're creating a straw man as if that's what I was.
No, not at all. I asked a question to clarify.
Then why, I mean, but
before I straw man, I didn't want to straw man.
I give any illusion that that's how I would react to my grandmother.
Well, no, I was.
Did I say anything? Did I say anything that would be?
You're getting very defensive. It was just a question.
No. Okay. Have you ever raped any children?
Excuse me?
Have you raped any children?
Skylar,
question.
Come on now.
What? What? It's just a question.
Really?
Really?
Skylar.
Do you understand? See, that's what I'm saying.
You think that those are equivalent?
No. Hold on. You went right to, well, wouldn't it be, what if you talk to your grandmother like this and we're like, oh, you're wrong. Like, dude, what fucking impression did you get from me that would ever do? Like the same reason why it would be absurd for me to like, what impression did you give me that you rape children? Nothing, right? Nothing gave you that impression. You just decided to ask a stupid.
This is an incredibly fragile way to respond to a direct question.
Yeah. See, this is just more emotionalizing, right? You're not dealing with what
I'm
saying.
the one being
You're
emotional
dealing
here.
with the attitude. Go ahead. If you have an argument, present the argument.
I think that it's always more appropriate when we're talking with people, especially with people we disagree with, to, as appropriate as possible, meet them at the level of the conversation in order to achieve a common understanding. So if I was talking with a blind person, well, I've had to do that with you like throughout this entire conversation. If I was talking with a blind person, I wouldn't appeal to color.
You want to say it again for the audience? Make the joke.
No, I wanted to finish my point. So if I was talking to a blind person, I wouldn't appeal to color when I'm talking to them, because they don't, like, if they were blind from birth, they might not have right, exactly. They don't have a perception of color.
Why did you think I would, like, what do you think? Like, see, this is what I'm talking about. You just straw man me into thinking, like you're trying to,
no.
Like,
I can tie it back if you let me finish. You're saying,
okay, so why don't you just be specific and accuse me of what you're thinking that I will do?
I'm not accusing you of things I think you'll do. I'm trying to address things that you've already said. You're saying that trans people are under a delusion because their gender identity flies in the face of objective reality. But you and I have now established that, number one, what you meant was material reality, which I'm glad that we made that clarification. But then I was trying to illustrate, okay, well, just because your perception of material reality is different from someone else's, just because your perception of material reality is different from someone else's doesn't necessarily mean that one is more right than the other.
This is probably true more than anything. This one right here, not what you were saying, but he's saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to upset you. I went into this trying to be as calm as possible.
Every time you bring up like emotion with me or trying to like read my emotions, like it just comes off.
Well, all I have to go off of is your voice, and you raise it constantly. It's hard to gauge emotion off of just a voice. I do that a lot. I do. I am a loud talker. I'm a very loud talker. Didn't know that. We've never spoken before.
And I'm entertaining. Right. But just being like, just talking about all the emotions of everything.
Well, because I'm like Jesus. I like to keep people happy.
About the topic, you're not like Jesus. I find it. You're like, well, you had me to define the reality as being material reality, as if you believe in something other than material reality.
I don't.
Yeah, so why would you ask for a clarification? It's stuff
well,
like that.
Well, because you said objective, and that's a different form of reality. Objective reality, like I said, is generally like a concept I hear appealed to by like theists. That's why I wanted to I was like, okay, we're not talking about objective reality, right? Like I heard on that stream that you were pantheist.
What do you think theists mean by objective reality?
Well, they're
Wait a
referring to
minute.
like
What do you
ultimate
think-
reality in the sense that like God created blah blah blah. That's what I think of when I hear
No,
objective
no,
reality.
they're still talking about physical reality too.
Well, some of them are,
Objective reality.
sure, but most of the time when I've discussed with specifically Christians, when they say objective reality and they try to appeal to that as a way to prove like transgender identity is invalid or homosexuality is wrong, what they're appealing to is this sort of grandiose sense of theological perfection, which of course you and I would both like scoff at, right? Like,
I didn't catch the last. Sorry. What was the last part of your sentence?
no, I'm
Okay, I'm sorry. I truly it cut out for a second.
Oh,
Was the
I
problem?
mean,
think-
okay.
yeah,
So
couldn't
I apologize. I just thought you weren't listening. I saw there were a lot of
hear- Oh,
chats.
no. Yeah,
What I
no,
said, what I
honestly,
said was, when I hear Christians appeal to objective reality, what they're usually appealing to is some grandiose theological sense of like God's perfect creation and everything according to His will. And like, obviously, you and I would scoff at that as a sort of measurement of reality because you and I typically seem to defer to material reality, right?
Typically.
Yeah, typically.
I'm a pantheist.
But
though.
you would also agree that in every case, it's not necessarily appropriate to appeal to material reality for everything, right?
Yeah, I don't really talk about unless I'm talking philosophy or religion with somebody. I never talk about immaterial reality.
Sure.
That's it. That's the only times.
Yeah, sure.
That would be it. Yeah.
But I just, because I don't understand what's non-material about transgender identities then that's where my confusion is now.
What's non-material?
Yeah,
about a
just
transgender
because they
identity?
don't like,
The concept of your identity. It's what you're in your brain are coming up with.
well, okay, but is you being a man part of material reality?
Are you talking about biological sex?
Gender identity. You identify as a man?
Well, gender is just an abstract concept.
Well, do you identify as a man?
Biologically?
Do you identify as a man?
Are you talking about biological
If I had
sex?
said biological sex, I would have
No,
said
see,
it.
this is
I
what I'm
said,
talking about,
okay,
it's
so
clown.
do you
It's like,
are
I
you
really
male?
wanna talk with
Skylar,
you.
are you male?
Are you talking about?
Yes, I am
biological?
talking about biological sex. Are you
Okay,
male?
yeah.
Do you identify as a man? Those are two different questions.
Well, a man would be an adult male.
Is that you identify as a man?
Well, that's what the definition of man is, an adult male.
Can
So, yes,
you
I am
meet
an
me
adult
on
male. I am a
meet me
man.
halfway on a definition so we can have
meaning,
a
I'm just-
fucking
I'm just
conversation here? Christ
It's not-
almighty.
that is the definition. You can disagree with the definition all you want, but that is the word used male or a man is an adult male. That is the definition. Just like a woman is an adult female. There you go.
Oh wait, a woman's an adult female, not an adult human female. Actually, wait a minute. I am curious here. Is a woman an adult human female? First question. I have two questions. One and then a follow-up. Is a woman an adult human female?
You know what? We use male and female.
Is
when
your
we talk about
definition of
women.
woman an adult human
I don't
female?
know.
That's the definition you used earlier, right?
A woman.
What
are we referring?
Is a woman
yeah,
an adult human female?
I don't know. What are you getting at, man?
Would you consider Arwen from Lord of the Rings
Why
to
do
be
we
a
have to
woman?
like we were talking about
Skylar.
human beings. So
Skylar.
Hold on. Hey. We were talking about human
Yeah,
beings.
but
I defined a woman as an adult female.
well, you defined it initially as an
I mean,
adult
why do we
human.
have
Would
to
you
worry-
like
why
to
do I
adjust
have
your
to worry-
definition because
Okay,
you've
hold on,
realized that
hold
it's
on.
not as inclusive as you
It's-
initially found?
I don't give a fuck if it's inclusive, bro. Why do you think I care if it's inclusive?
Well, then what's your issue with adult human female as a definition?
No. Don't change the fucking subject. You keep changing it to this, to that, to going to where. Dude, you were talking about this thing. You got shown you're wrong.
I did
and
not
now
get
let's
shown I
move
was
to
wrong.
something else.
Please explain to me how I was shown I
okay,
was wrong.
Okay. Am I wrong about the definition of what am I wrong about my definitions I just gave?
Well, so you said
Am I wrong about the definition?
yes, you are wrong.
Okay, show me that I'm wrong.
How would you like me to show you?
By definition, show me where I'm wrong by definition.
Okay, well, the
Show me
definition of
the-
man is someone who identifies as a man.
Is that your personal definition?
Yeah, but is your personal definition
Okay, I
an
don't
adult
accept
male?
it. I'm going with the dictionary.
Okay, well, what if the dictionary changes to adopt my definition? Would you then adopt my definition?
I don't know what we're arguing about.
Well, see, yeah, you run away from it.
No. I mean, you're just like, what if it changes?
Have some intellectual
What if-
courage
what if
here.
America becomes
If it
socialist?
changes, would
What
you
if
adopt my
America becomes
definition?
capitalist? No,
No, you wouldn't.
because it still has no meaning. A dictionary would be smart enough not to know to have a.
At least you
definition of
bit
a
the
word that
bullet.
has
I
no
mean,
content.
credit.
Oh no, I'm so cool.
No, genuinely, like I said, I
Wait,
prefer
no.
that you actually like commit to a position rather than go, what are we even talking about?
Well, I mean, I like to, unlike you, I like to commit to positions, and I like to.
I
have
not.
Right,
I have not been non-committal to any position throughout this entire discussion. Name one position I haven't committed to.
My language. You got to redefine your words in order to make an argument.
I have been consistent with my definitions throughout the entire debate. You're the one who changed your definition of female to, or of woman to adult female, not adult human female.
What was your point? Go ahead. Go over why I would be so wrong if I had used the word human in my definition.
Well, would you consider Arwen from Lord of the Rings, the elf, to be a woman?
It's a movie character.
But you would consider her perceptually when you view that movie. You don't go, oh, that's not a woman because it's an elf.
There's you were talking about biological sex. Dogs have boys and girls. Like animals have bodies. It's how babies are.
Can you meet me at the conversation, please?
I am meeting you. I'm explaining reality to you, and you don't want to explain reality, right? You're acting as if you're shocked that I believe that there are biological.
Okay,
sex.
gender identities don't exist in material reality. They're constructs that we make up. Woman is a gender identity. When I asked you to define woman, initially you said adult human female. Now you would like to, if you want to shift your definition to adult female, I am totally fine to retract the line of argumentation I'm going down.
What's the problem with using the word woman? I mean, human.
Because when I watch media like Lord of the Rings, I don't stop and think, oh, Arwen and Galadriel, they're not women because they're not human. Nobody does that. So your definition is not accurate. Definitions are supposed to be descriptive measures of reality, and that's not one.
An opinion. Well, you're talking about not even a cartoon character. You're talking about a fictional character.
Why can't you address my?
There are no elves because you're talking about a hypothetical about an elf. The elves don't exist, and then trying to attribute some type of sexual identity to them. Right? Elves might not.
Woman is not a sexual identity. It is a gender identity.
Yes, it is now that you created an abstract concept called gender. Right?
I didn't create gender.
Concept. Yes, it is. Yes, you guys created.
Dude, this has been around since like Judith Butler. You're the one that's behind on this reading.
What year was Judith Butler? What was her era?
Pretty sure she's still around, isn't she?
Oh, so most of human history.
When did she write that? When did she write that?
And then this woman wrote a book.
It was written in like 1990. Was Gender Trouble?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd say you're hitting my point.
Yeah.
Nail it on the head.
So
30 years. 1990. I'm older than that.
You what does bisexual mean? No, okay, Skylar, I'm being 100% honest with you. I have no intention of derailing the conversation. I want to get to the heart of this. No, Any line of argumentation I go down, I have a direct intention of going down. Do you know what bisexual means?
Bisexual is typically somebody who's attracted to both sexes.
Right. Do you know that's not what it used to mean? Did you know in the 80s it was actually used to describe closer to what we would identify as a non-binary gender identity? It was people who didn't conform with either male or female. They were bisexual. They were both. But as we learned more about gender identities and the ways that they interact in our social spaces, we updated our definition of bisexual, and we created a term, non-binary, to describe that so that we could still retain a term that we found useful.
Non-binary is not bisexuality.
Well, I didn't say that. Not anymore, it's not, but it was thought of back then. That is how the term was used in the 80s, dude.
That's not how the term. Were you alive in the 80s?
I mean, were you?
Yes.
Well, then why are you being this dishonest?
Because you're bullshitting and lying to the audience. You weren't, dude. We didn't. First of all, in the 80s, right? Being gay was not something many people were out about, right? I know. Look, Google, and find some random website that talks about some kind of history. Go ahead. Right, you'll find some individuals within society that may have called it that. None of the physical.
This is stonewall.org.uk. Shut the fuck up.
Stonewall. Is that a news article? Is that a news website, or is it just?
This is a foundation, I believe, that was founded to combat homophobic, transphobic, and otherwise
Yeah, how does that make it legitimate with its information?
See, this is anti-academia. This is what I get into when I debate far right people. They go, "Oh, that source. Look at the last name of the guy that did that source."
Academia. You're quoting a group, which is my exact point. Right?
I didn't even get
that's why I asked
actually find the definition. The evolution of the word bisexual and why it's still okay.
You are not quoting academia. I quoted academia. Go ahead. Give me your quote from academia. Give me your source.
No, thank you.
Oh, you don't have it. Okay.
No, I'm a big liar.
Yeah, you are. Because you can't provide it. And what you said was going to be academia wasn't. What was the name of the website? Stonewall? Is that an academic? Is that an academic website? Right? You were just trying to show me academia, right? Is that a website where there's academia on it? Or is it sharing information? If you want to go, Lefty, you just let me know. Whenever you're ready to come back in, you let me know. Still
If
Google.
you want me to support an argument that I didn't prepare for beforehand, you need to give me a minute.
That's laziness on your part. That's just pure
It's not laziness, Skylar. I can assure you.
I did. Why would I? I mean, I prepared.
I have never met.
In fact, you know what's funny is I actually just prepared 3 hours ago. Well, I read some articles. I read a lot of articles.
Wow,
last night.
so when you impugn me for having a week to prepare but not doing anything, you didn't do any prep until 3 hours before. Wow.
Yeah, and look what I was able to come with data, show you information, facts. You haven't provided any academia to me.
I literally referenced the Mayo Clinic. I literally referenced
you referenced the site that I gave you.
Yeah, which is odd that you disagree with what the medical professionals that say is the proper treatment for gender dysphoria.
No, that's not what the website.
So, what is your position on the use of feminine hormones? Then, are you for or against them?
Yes, I am against them because of the reasons that I stated. Hold on, let me go back to it. The problems that they cause: blood clots and deep veins in the lungs, heart problems, high level of triglycerides and types of fat in the blood, high levels of potassium in the blood, high levels of hormone prolactin in the blood, nipple discharge, weight gain, infertility, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and strokes. You're goddamn right.
So setting aside the
giving non-adults these things, because of a problem that can be dealt with in a psychiatric manner, right? That doesn't have to be done by just giving medication to kids. Like we think that's going to solve.
What you're referring to when you allude to psychiatric, unless you'd like to clarify, is conversion therapy.
No, it's not.
Then what is it?
You're talking about, it's literally, you're talking, this is the Mayo Clinic. What the fuck do you
The Mayo Clinic for gender dysphoria says that treatment involves hormone therapy and surgery. They agree with me.
Yeah. Listen, we're not arguing what it says.
And that study does exactly, I illustrated what the, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm gonna call you a fuck-faced moron now.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Fucking understand what I'm saying. No one is denying, right, what it's saying the treatment
This is obnoxious.
Right? I brought the fucking website to you to show you that this is what the treatment used is by the doctors, right? The disagreement is about whether we should be using these medications to treat these kids, right? And the problem is you haven't read enough about this. You don't understand these actual reports because these reports aren't saying what you think they say. Most of these studies have to do, just like the one you brought up, didn't even refer to medical treatment in the article you brought up. It was just about parents and how they treat their children. You're being ostracized.
That's part of the treatment.
Anyways, go ahead, clown.
That's part of the treatment. Parental acceptance, social transition is part of the treatment for people with gender dysphoria, as is medical intervention.
And no one's disagreeing.
Oh my God, Skylar!
And you don't want to deal with what
dude,
right? And you just
this is pathetic.
Disagreeing that we shouldn't be nice to our children.
This is
right. And
this is like he knows that I've got him.
The conversation we're talking about.
He knows I've got him.
Talk about the fucking.
He's running. You're running. Like, I listed to you the side effects, the potential side effects of taking fucking Tylenol. Okay, so I have officially been kicked off of that idiot stream. I listed for him. So just to be clear, yes, of course, there are side effects to taking feminizing hormone therapy, masculinizing hormone therapy. There's side effects to any medication that you take. So what we're talking about here is the weighing the risks of leaving gender dysphoria untreated, which we know results in suicide, versus the potential risks of taking a medication that might result in all of these side effects. God. As I was trying to illustrate to Skylar, the problem with him appealing to the side effects is that every medication has side effects. Every medication, every surgery has regret rates too. This is always something that dishonest people try to invoke as a sort of a gotcha on the trans community or in trans allies is, well, what about all the people that desist, or what about all of these side effects, while refusing to acknowledge that medical science has already made allowances for side effects when it comes to certain medications. I was reading about Tylenol. Swelling of the throat, tongue, lips, and eyes is a potential side effect of taking a fucking Tylenol. Okay? We have to ask ourselves what we're more concerned with. Are we concerned with saving the lives of kids in the ways that we have demonstrated are most effective for doing so? And the other thing is, I am not going to be impugned for not preparing anything. When I watched his stream, and it just kind of seemed like people were hopping in and out. If he wanted to have a prep debate, he should have informed me that it was a prep debate. That's not my fault. Regardless, I didn't really expect to get anywhere. He wasn't able to address the double standard he was applying when it came to the segregation example. Overall, it was kind of disappointing. It's really disappointing to just have someone repeatedly, one thing I do want everyone to notice is the amount of times that he would go, this is just silly. This is ridiculous. You're redefining definitions. It's because rather than actually engaging with my arguments he knows that he doesn't have defeaters for, he'd much rather just run away, which is what I accused him of right at the end. He's far more interested in running from the valid points that I'm making than addressing them up front because he knows that he can't. Skylar, if you want to have a fully researched debate on trans issues, if you want to be very specific with like a prompt, even get a moderator, which I know you joked about, but seeing none, again, didn't think this was a formal debate, hit me up again. I would hope that you would keep in mind that just muting someone when they're saying something that you don't like is not really a good way to have an effective conversation. That's quite childish, actually. You are going to encounter opinions that you don't like, especially doing what we do. You need to be ready to handle those in a mature and measured response. If your positions are genuinely stronger than mine, then I don't understand what the emotional reaction was for. If you genuinely were correct, if you had all of the data on your side, you should have just dumpstered me, piled it on top of me, flooded me with all of the studies that destroy me. But those don't exist because you're wrong. But again, willing to have a conversation with you again, just Jesus, dude.